Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract money and opportunities almost effortlessly, while others work just as hard but never quite break through? It's easy to assume that wealth is purely about skills, education, or luck. But the truth is far more subtle and far more powerful. Wealth is deeply psychological. The way you think about money, the decisions you make under pressure, and even the habits you repeat daily are all shaped by your mindset. Most people focus on external strategies, investing tips, side hustles, or business ideas. While those are important, they often ignore the internal wiring that determines whether those strategies succeed or fail. Two people can follow the exact same financial plan, yet one builds wealth while the other stays stuck. The difference lies in psychology, the invisible patterns that drive behavior over time. In this video, we're not going to talk about complicated financial jargon or risky shortcuts. Instead, we're going to explore three powerful psychological shifts that can fundamentally change how you approach money, helping you earn more, save more, and build long-term wealth. These are not quick hacks. They are mindset frameworks that, once adopted, can compound just like money itself. Let's get into it. Way 1. Rewire your identity around money. Most people try to change their financial situation without changing how they see themselves. They say things like, "I want to earn more," or "I need to save money," but deep down, they still identify as someone who struggles financially. This creates a hidden conflict. Your actions may aim for growth, but your identity pulls you back to familiarity. Psychologically, humans are wired to stay consistent with their identity. If you see yourself as bad with money, you will unconsciously make decisions that reinforce that belief. Overspending, avoiding investments, or procrastinating on financial planning. On the other hand, people who build wealth often adopt a different identity. They think of themselves as disciplined, strategic, and long-term oriented. To use this to your advantage, start by shifting your internal narrative. Instead of saying, "I'm trying to save," begin thinking, "I am someone who manages money wisely." This subtle change influences your daily decisions. You begin to act in alignment with that identity, not because you're forcing yourself, but because it feels natural. Over time, these small aligned actions compound. You hesitate before unnecessary purchases, you look for opportunities instead of excuses, and you become more intentional with your time and energy. Wealth building stops feeling like a chore and starts becoming part of who you are. Way 2. Train your brain to value delayed gratification. One of the strongest psychological predictors of financial success is the ability to delay gratification. It's the ability to resist a small reward now in favor of a much larger reward later. This might sound obvious, but in a world built around instant pleasure, quick shopping, fast entertainment, and immediate validation, it's incredibly rare. Every financial decision you make is essentially a trade-off between present comfort and future gain. Spending money impulsively feels good in the moment, but it often comes at the cost of long-term growth. On the other hand, saving, investing, or reinvesting in skills can feel uncomfortable now, but it creates exponential benefits later. The key is to train your brain to associate pleasure not just with spending, but with progress. Instead of feeling deprived when you save money, start seeing it as a win. Instead of viewing investments as sacrifices, view them as seeds you're planting for future freedom. You can strengthen this mindset by creating visible progress markers. Track your savings, watch your investments grow, and celebrate milestones, even small ones. This taps into your brain's reward system and makes delayed gratification feel satisfying rather than restrictive. Over time, this shift changes your entire financial trajectory. You stop chasing short-term highs and start building long-term stability, which is where real wealth is created. Way 3. Leverage the psychology of environment and exposure. Your environment plays a bigger role in your financial life than you might realize. The people you interact with, the content you consume, and the standards you're exposed to all shape your beliefs about what's possible. If you're constantly surrounded by people who normalize overspending, avoid financial conversations, or dismiss wealth building as unrealistic, it becomes difficult to think differently. Not because you lack ambition, but because your environment reinforces limiting beliefs. On the other hand, when you expose yourself to people and ideas that emphasize growth, discipline, and opportunity, your mindset begins to expand. You start to see new paths, question old assumptions, and raise your personal standards. This doesn't necessarily mean you have to change your entire social circle overnight. It can start with small shifts, following educational content, reading books about money psychology, or listening to conversations that challenge your current thinking. The goal is to normalize wealth building behaviors in your Zen. When smart financial decisions become part of your everyday exposure, they feel less intimidating and more achievable. You begin to adopt these behaviors naturally, without constant effort. Conclusion: building wealth is not just about what you do, it's about how you think. The strategies you follow will only take you so far if your mindset isn't aligned with your goals. But when you start working on the psychological level, everything changes. Your decisions become clearer, your habits become stronger, and your progress becomes more consistent. These three approaches, rewiring your identity, mastering delayed gratification, and shaping your environment, are not overnight fixes. They require awareness, repetition, and patience. But unlike quick money schemes, they create lasting change. They build a foundation that supports growth not just for months, but for years and decades. If you take even one of these ideas seriously and apply it consistently, you'll begin to notice a shift, not just in your finances, but in your confidence and clarity as well. Because ultimately, wealth is not just about money. It's about control over your choices, your time, and your future. If you found this valuable, take a moment to reflect on which of these three psychological shifts you need the most right now. Start there. Small changes in thinking can lead to massive changes in results. And remember, your financial future is not decided by chance. It is shaped by the mindset you choose to build starting today.